And also, God is eternal. There is no God before or after God. God is. So really learning what does it mean to lay down our lives, we have to have a knowledge of who God is. God is love and God is eternal. So therefore, God exists outside of time. We live inside of time.
Yes, sir.
We live, human beings live inside of time. So that means human beings are not in a fixed and present state, or constant state, excuse me. So that means we can what? We can change our minds anytime, right? That's why Jesus always said those who endure to what? The end. Because we can change our minds every day. We can confess Jesus Christ one day and confess Satan the next day. And we do that a lot. But God is outside of time. So therefore, when we are looking at our circumstances, when we focus on the present, the here and now, amen, we're pretty much telling God that He's really not real. We're stepping outside of God. Amen. God is eternal. When we focus on the things that we see now in the present, we're letting God know that we really don't believe in Him. So that's why it's sin to not forgive people. Because God is looking to the whole course of that person's life, and we're looking at an instance, a moment, the here and the now. And God is already seeing this person 10 years from now on the road to Damascus. When we look at the current situation going on in the world, God already sees the end. He saw what led to the events that made the situation happen that way. So part of love, when I'm really looking at it, is realizing that God is eternal. And because God is eternal, we have to have His same mindset and not get caught up in what we see in the present. The Bible tells us that we need to have the mind of Christ. So therefore, adopting the mind of Christ, we know that God is love and He's eternal. Also, let's look at Colossians. Colossians chapter 3. We saw verse 1. If ye then be risen with Christ, seek those things which are above, where Christ sitteth on the right hand of God. Set your affection on the things above, not on things on the earth. Why? Because we know that the earth will pass away. For ye are dead, and your life is hid with Christ in God. When Christ, who is our life, shall appear, then shall ye also appear with Him in glory. So therefore we are commanded to mortify, therefore, your members which are upon the earth, fornication, uncleanness, inordinate affection, evil conspicuous, and covetousness, which is idolatry. If we are to be risen with Christ, we are to seek those things which are above, knowing that God sits on the right, God sits on the throne. And we are to set our affections on God. And that's a daily focus that we have to have. That if we are to lay down our lives, if we are to deny ourselves, we have to learn how to set our affections constantly on the things above. And because of our training in Satan's camp, we easily lose focus of that. So for a moment, we may partake of the kingdom of God by focusing on Him every day, singing praises to Him, but the next moment, we're back doing the same things we were doing before. That's because we have been trained by Satan for years. But the Bible has commanded us to set our affection on things above. And that's how we are to look through those lenses. That's how we are to look at our experiences. That's how we are to look at people. We just look at those circumstances. And we begin to look from the perspective on sitting with God on high. And when you're sitting above a circumstance, what are you doing to it? When you look at it, you're looking where? When you're sitting above and you look at your circumstances, what are you doing? You're looking what? Down. You're looking down. But a lot of times we get so caught up that we begin to look up at our circumstances. We have to look down at them because we are sitting. Where's our affection? On above, on high. The place where Christ is. That's where our mindset should be. That's where our focus should be. That's how we can love people the way they need to be loved, with the love of God. Because we set our affections on things above, not on the earth, not on the economy, not on terrorism, not on our present state, or not where the people who oppose us, not where they currently are. But we have to look through the scopes or the lens in which God sees things, an eternal perspective. And that's one thing we have to focus in on day in and day out. If we really want to learn what it takes, or what does it really mean to deny yourself, to lay down your life, we have to start seeing things the way God sees things. And that's the very knowledge that Jesus had as well. That's why you'll see what he said in Luke 22, Luke 23. Luke 23, we'll start at verse 33. And when they were come to the place which is called Calvary, there they crucified him and the malefactors, one on the right hand and the other on the left. Then said Jesus, Father, forgive them, for they know not what they do. And they parted his raiment and cast lots. And you see, Jesus knew who God was. And he was looking at this whole situation of people crucifying him, hanging him on the cross, the ultimate suffering, the ultimate shame. He didn't complain. He didn't become offended. But he said, Father, do what? Forgive them, for they know not what they do. That's the same way we have to look at our lives. That's the same way we have to look at the people and the circumstances in our lives from the perspective that God sees things. Father, forgive these people, for they know not what they do. Not withdrawing yourselves from people. Not failing to reach out to them. But Father, forgive them. And by your forgiveness, I have a way to reach out and to show your love to them. Father, forgive them. Laying down our lives. We have to learn how to set our affection on things above and not on the earth. Because the world passeth away and the lust thereof. But he that doeth the will of God abides forever. And that has to be our focus. And this is just a reminder to all of us. But we really have to look at God is love and God is eternal. Nothing happens in our lives by chance. How many of you believe that?
Amen.
Amen.
Nothing in our lives happens by chance. Our path has been set in order, ordained. And we're walking along the path. The true testament or testimony of a Christian is how we react. It's how we react to those situations and those circumstances. That's what defines us. Not what we say we are, but how we react to those situations. How we react when a storm comes. How we react to people that oppose us. How we react to hate. How we react to fornication. How we react to those things. That defines who we are. And Christ has given us all things that pertain unto life and godliness.
Amen.
Was to complete the process.
Mm-hmm.
So there is no excuse. How do we react to the storm? Do we react the way Jesus did? Father, forgive them. Father, you're in control. Or do we try to take vengeance on our own? Do we fail to love others? Do we fail to reach out? And one quick story, the other day, we had a slow day.